When I started thinking on how I was going to end Mega May 2021, I figured I needed to cover a title I either absolutely loved or hated. But the odd thing about Mega Man and Bass here is that I don't think there's any other title in the series I feel so mixed on. There's so much I adore about this game that should make it one of my favorites in the series. Yet for a long time, I despised this title. Indeed, despite having owned the Game Boy Advance version as a kid and owning a translated reproduction card of the SNES version as an adult, I've only touched it a few times in my adult life. You know, a Mega Man game makes me feel apprehensive when, before making this video at least, I'd played the freaking WonderSwan game more than it. Clearly much of the Mega Man fanbase feels the same way too. A few weeks back, I took a picture of my SNES cart and posted it to Twitter, Instagram, and the community tab here on YouTube, with a simple question: is this a bad game? And it was easily one of my most responded to questions ever. Even got a few email responses. And for a game that I always thought was rather obscure, I was really surprised to see how many people feel so strongly about it. Some people love it. Some absolutely hate it. Some firmly feel it is just a mixed bag. And for a few folks, such as myself, we have a love-hate relationship with it. To put it simply, it's complicated. This is RETROspective, the series where I take a look back at games from my childhood to see how they hold up today. And to start off, Mega Man and Bass is actually better than I remember it. Originally released exclusively in Japan in 1998 for the SNES, or as they call it over there, the Super Famicom, we didn't get it over here in Canada until the Game Boy Advance port was released in 2003. And though that one looks graphically similar to the original and has a redone soundtrack that is really awesome in its own right, it was filled to the brim with annoying screen crunch. I noticed that when I asked about mm&b on socials, even folks who loved this game seemed to all agree that the GBA version was way inferior to the SNES version. Indeed, I actually got my GBA copy as a birthday present one year, and 6 months later, it became one of the first games I remember ever trading to GameStop. This fan-translated SNES version I actually got from a local game store. I know it's kind of a running bit for me to shout out Epic Games and More in Victoria, BC on the channel, but yeah, I got this cartridge from them about 5 years back, right after I got a Superboy, which is basically a Super Nintendo in a GBA-esque form factor. It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. But what about Mega Man and Bass itself? Well, this game was originally released because after Mega Man 8 came out on the PS1 and Saturn, Mega Man series head Keiji Inafune wanted a way for Nintendo fans to still keep up with the series. Originally intended just as a SNES port of Mega Man 8, Mega Man and Bass instead became a completely original game that shares 2 bosses and a lot of graphical assets with its 32-bit cousin. Indeed, during development, mm&b was internally referred to as Mega Man 8.5. I mean, just look at those graphics. They're a little chunkier than on the PS1 and Saturn, sure, but on a CRT especially, they look basically the same. Seriously impressive sprite work here. Capcom nailed the style, and they look nearly just as bright and vibrant as on the bigger bitted cousin. And as for the name, Mega Man and Bass is the first game in the series to boast 2 different playstyles. Well, first in the classic series anyways. In this title, you have the option to play as Mega Man or his rival, Bass. Mega Man himself controls basically as he did in Mega Man 8. He can jump, shoot, slide, and has a charged buster shot that can go through walls. Bass, on the other hand, feels very Mega Man X-esque to me. He has a machine gun shot that he can aim in 8 directions, but he can't move while firing it. His shots also can't go through walls, but he can double jump and even dash around. Both characters can also collect bolts that can be spent at a shot between stages, and, as always, they take the powers of the Robot Master bosses they defeat to use as they please. But wait, I thought Bass was designed to kill Mega Man. Why is he playable here? Cue the somewhat nonsensical plot. In the long-off year of 2000 and late, some robotic jackass named King breaks into Dr. Wily's lab and then the Robot Museum to steal info on Dr. Light's robots because he's apparently a robot who's insane in the mainframe and who wants to rule the world. You, as Mega Man or Bass, track him down to the museum where Proto Man scares him off, and then you fight the Green Devil. Easy boss, also up from Mega Man 8 by the way, But goodness, the devil robots are some of the most notorious in the Mega Man series, so let this intro boss set the tone for the rest of the game. From there, you set off to fight 8 robot masters to gain their weapons to break these 8 crystals that block you from accessing King's Fortress. And instead of being able to access all 8 bosses from the start, you instead get 3 and then unlock the others depending on which boss you beat when, because instead of a traditional stage select screen, this game uses like this weird grid system. I mean, it's odd. It doesn't fundamentally change anything besides making the game a bit more linear. I don't know, if anything it's a downgrade from traditional Mega Man fare. Anyways, you, after hopefully stocking up on bolts to buy power-ups from Auto Shop, eventually get access to King's Lair, and after going through 3 stages that basically have the content of 5 crammed into them, though we'll get to that later, try to lay the smackdown on King himself. However, King has an impenetrable shield. Well, impenetrable until Proto Man sets him up the bomb anyways. From there, you defeat King in battle, and the day is saved, right? Well, no. At the very end, he reveals that he wasn't acting on his own accord. That's right, this is classic Mega Man, not Mega Man X. Silly player, robots don't act on their own. He was made by Dr. Wily, who wants to take over the world and also just screw around with space because I'm actually not really sure. So you go through a boss rush, beat Wily, make him beg for mercy, and then head off into the sunset. Oh, and there's an epilogue presented in the credits. In Base's ending, Proto Man appears, having shockingly not died against King, and he tells Base that he will never be able to beat Mega Man unless he manages to get good. In Mega Man's ending though, Roll, Mega Man's sister, gets a letter from King saying that he is alive and well and wants to atone for his war crimes. Honestly, it's a classic Mega Man game. The story is just there for an excuse to fight a new set of 8 robot masters, and it's really not that intrusive. Though, the Robot Masters here aren't a completely new set. Along with newcomers Cold Man, Burner Man, Pirate Man, Ground Man, Magic Man, Dynamo Man, are the returning Astro Man and Tengu Man from Mega Man 8. Their stages also have somewhat similar aesthetics to their 32-bit counterparts, Tengu Man more so than Astro Man. Side note, they also have new stage themes too. This means that Tengu Man, canonically speaking, has 3 different music tracks to represent him. There's the one here, the one in Mega Man 8 on PS1, and the one in the Saturn version of Mega Man 8. It's weird, he was the only Mega Man boss to ever get that treatment. The whole soundtrack in Mega Man Base is great though. Like, don't get me wrong, the GBA soundtrack is good in its own right, but I think the SNES version really shines. It's honestly one of the best soundtracks in the series, just give some selections a listen. So the game looks and sounds great. The controls are tight, and Base is really a refreshing addition to the series. And for folks who love their collectibles, there are even 100 CDs spread throughout all the stages, some of which can only be obtained by Mega Man or Base respectively. These contain data on every single character featured in the classic series up to that point, including some of their likes and hobbies. And as for the data on the CDs, it may seem trivial now, but remember that this game predates Wikipedia by 3 years. Vastly improved from Mega Man 8 is the shop system. Instead of there being a limited number of bolts in the game like in MM8, bolts are instead dropped by enemies, just like health and special weapon restores. This is the same system that was used in Mega Man 7, 9, and 10, and I really do prefer it this way, even if we still have some of the auto upgrades from Mega Man 8. Ah yes, thanks game, I absolutely need this climb ladders faster power up. Also carried over from Mega Man 7, 8, and the Mega Man X series is the game beginning with an intro stage. Of all the classic games that features one, mm&b has the absolute best intro stage. It involves you going through the robot museum itself, which is under siege from Wily's minions. What makes the museum work is the variety of environments inside. From lava pits to both sunny and rainy outdoor sections to even a bit on a raft over some water, it really makes you excited for the game ahead, no matter which character you're playing as. It also provides a really nice sampler of a bunch of different environments to platform through. It even has my favorite music track in the game, which you're hearing in the background right now. So it may sound like I actually love this game, and there really is a lot to love. Mega Man and Bass does a ton right, but it kind of drops the ball in the one area that matters most: stage design. But like, not all the stages. Oh, and some of the bosses kind of suck too. And damn, is the game unbalanced if you're playing as Mega Man? It really feels more like a Bass game that just happens to have Mega Man as a playable character, but, well, let me explain. Choosing between Mega Man and Bass at the start of the game is basically a choice between a campaign with easier bosses but more BS in the stages, or a boss that can take longer than you'd like to beat, with stages that are a lot easier to traverse. That said, no matter who you pick, you'll still have to deal with a decent bit of headache. Look at Bass's boss fight against Coldman here. I mean, it's an easy battle. Coldman's stage itself is basically just an easy take on Frostman's stage from Mega Man 8, minus the sled sections. It's definitely the best stage to start off on, but holy crap, Bass's Bass Buster barely does any damage. It's an easy boss fight, yeah, but it just overstays its welcome as Bass. Mega Man's Mega Buster absolutely shears health off of him in comparison. That's not the only slog Bass has to go through either. Look at the Centipede mini-boss in Groundman stage. Just please make it die already. The bosses definitely do get easier once you get some special boss weapons though, and this is easily one of the best selections of special weapons in the series. Coldman's weapon creates an ice wall that you can also ride on top of. Burner Man gives you a freaking flamethrower. Pirate Man gives you a bomb that you can remotely detonate. Ground Man just gives you a big ass drill. Tengu Man gives you a slicey slice blade. Magic Man gives you a playing card that both damages enemies and that can retrieve faraway items, a la the Ring Boomerang in Mega Man 4 and Game Boy. Astro Man lets you create a copy of yourself that will continuously fire at targets. And Dynamo Man just gives you a lightning fueled screen nuke. All of them are great, and due to the gem things locking you out of King's Fortress, you have to experiment with all of them to get through the game. And they're fun to experiment with too. This is Mega Man weapon design at its best. But the thing is that, even though when the game is at its best, it's fantastic, when it's at its worst, it's awful. Just look at Dynamo here. He's such a pain in the ass to fight, especially as Bass. I hope that whoever decided that a boss that can literally restore themselves to full health was a good idea, was never allowed to work on a Mega Man boss ever again. Burner Man is another royal pain too, though not quite as bad. For max damage from his weakness, Cold Man's Ice Wall, you have to use it to push him into a bed of spikes on either side of his arena. But you have to keep him on screen when he hits the spikes, or else the damage won't count, even if he manages to hit the spikes off screen. Oh, and he has an abnormally large arena too, making this a lesson in frustration. The boss of King Stage 1 is real annoying too, if only because you have to stand on this platform over a lava pit to fire on it, and the platform disappears as soon as the boss dies. This means that, unless you know to jump off right at the last second, the boss will kill you along with it and make you have to redo the fight. The level design is also real wonky at times. Segments involving fake platforms and disappearing blocks are nearly trivialized by Bass thanks to the double jump, but they can be hellish at times for Mega Man. The worst example of these is the balloons in Tengu Man stage, which pop after standing on them for a second or so. Easy as Bass, but again, hellish as Mega Man, thanks to some also decided to make this stage an auto-scroller during this section. Do you think platformer devs ever realize that nobody actually likes auto-scrolling stages? I didn't like them in Mario 3, I didn't like the one in Sonic Forces, and I certainly don't like this one here either. The worst stage of them all though is King Stage 2. Getting frustrated with this stage as a kid is what single-handedly made me decide to get rid of my childhood copy. But okay, the stage starts off simple enough. There's some tight platforming, sure, but that's normal for a fortress stage in Mega Man. But then you reach this giant tank. It has its own music, but there's no health bar. That's weird, you may think. This must be a boss, right? Well, I mean, it is a boss, and you have to slowly destroy the cannon on the front, the little shooty thing on the top, and the enemy dispensing hatch on the back. It's kind of tough and can take some time, but it's not too bad, right? Well, that's until you beat it, and the stage just keeps going. Wait, what? Surely that wasn't just a mid-boss. So you go through more fortress shenanigans until you get to an auto-scrolling segment. Oh joy! It involves moving platforms over a bottomless pit, like when you fight the Mecha Dragon in Mega Man 2. However, while that boss was kind of cool, if only because it was a giant Mecha Dragon, what you're about to experience here is one of the inner circles of hell. The second boss of King Stage 2 is an airship. It shoots bubbles at you, some of which contain health restores, but also it has a hard to dodge laser beam, and a fist that can destroy the constantly moving platforms you're having to jump across. Oh, and there's also a damn screen clearing bomb. Even as Bass, this is a pain in the ass, but as Mega Man, I just can't do it, y'all. I'm going to be honest, I never beat this ship as a kid. Beating it as Bass while recording for this run and then beating Wily was my first time ever beating the game, actually. I gave up on trying to beat this game as Mega Man while working on this vid though. Bass can handle the moving platforms easily enough with his double jump, but as Mega Man, you just gotta hope and pray that the RNG works in your favor. But once you thankfully get past the ship, the stage still doesn't end. You still have to fight King himself, and he has 3 forms, the final of which involves him merging with the tank and ship from earlier in the stage. See what I meant when I said this is 3 stages with the content of 5? King Stage 2 isn't just annoying to play through, it way overstays its welcome. And while there are frustrating parts of the game before this point, for many, I can see why this stage would be an absolute deal breaker. It should have been split into multiple stages because it's just draining to play through. Some parts of Mega Man Bass, as I said, had questionable design, but this is the worst fortress stage in Mega Man. I'd rather play through all the crap that Mega Man X6 threw at me than this. The thing is too is that this really has you kind of scared for what the final Wily stage has in store, which makes it just that much more anticlimactic when you realize the final stage isn't even that bad. You have a traditional Mega Man boss rush, set up in a linear fashion a la Mega Man 1 instead of with a capsule room, and then you fight Wily. It really is anticlimactic after the gauntlet of the previous stage, but it's also very relieving, maybe even merciful. In general, Mega Man Bass feels like it's a few notch above most other Mega Man games in difficulty. Like, Mega Man was always a series known for being rather challenging, but mm&b knocks that up to 11. That's even kind of funny when you learn that Inafune was trying to target a younger demographic with this title. Yeah, Mega Man 8, one of the easiest games of the series that also has some anime cutscenes that kind of give me an Astro Boy vibe, was meant for an older audience. I mean, I kind of get it. The SNES was old at that point, but not too old to be a bad hand-me-down system. But like in Mega Man 8, there are no E-tanks to restore your health mid-stage. And unlike in Mega Man 8, though there's a save system, getting a game over sends you back to the beginning of a stage, even if you die against the boss. It's most definitely not a bad game in my opinion. But I think Mega Man and Bass is still a very flawed title that I'm not sure I'll be returning to anytime soon. But it's definitely not a bad game. What I'm getting at is that if what you're seeing on screen looks interesting to you, maybe give this one a shot. That may be easier said than done. They couldn't even be bothered to add this one to the Anniversary or Second Legacy collections. Maybe look into a translation cart featuring that original SNES version. As for me, I still have a complicated relationship with this game. A love-hate relationship, if you will. This video was kind of an attempt at putting these complicated thoughts into words. And I feel really good having gotten those thoughts off my chest. I guess I'm actually feeling a little better than I did at the start of this video. That's good too, because making a YouTube video is way cheaper than therapy. So on that note, thank you very much for watching this final part of Mega Man 2021. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, maybe consider leaving a like and letting me know your thoughts on Mega Man Bass if you've ever played this game in the comments below. I really enjoyed doing Mega Man this year, and maybe I'll give another marathon a shot sometime. I know I've gotten a lot of requests to look at Castlevania stuff, and I'd definitely love to maybe take a look at those at some point. As for these fine folks you see on screen right now, these are my Patreon patrons, YouTube channel members, and paid Twitch subs. And you can join them here too for as low as $1 a month on any of those platforms. With that in mind, I have a game room tour video to finish making, so thank you very much for watching, stay classy, and I'll see you next time.